again today at the Moeller's Workshop, a place where we explore fascinating forms of technology and new ideas and concepts. But today, we are going to do something that you are totally not expecting at all. Guaranteed you do not have any clue what it could possibly be, unless you read the title of the video, and in which case you probably already know. But in the event that you didn't and somehow inadvertently stumbled across this fascinating piece of expose, I'm going to update you on some interesting details. One of the most important details is the fact that I am a player of the Great Highland Bagpipe. The interesting thing about the bagpipe, and was unexpected by me when I first took up the instrument, was just how much work the actual instrument needs. You always have to be visiting it and checking things and adjusting things and adding a little of this and taking away a little of that, especially if you actually play the instrument on a periodical basis like I do. I basically stay on top of this thing. I play it maybe every couple of days just so that I can keep up and keep my strength and stamina. But so as a result of that, the device needs to have maintenance. So today, the subject of our video is how to maintain the blow stick of the Great Highland Bagpipe. Now I'll open it up and I'm going to look in my case, and I'm going to find a very important part of the instrument. Well, the whole instrument's very important, but this is an important part too, and it takes a licking and sometimes stops ticking. This is the blow stick. I keep a cap on it because it's got a very fragile part at the end. It's the flapper valve. It's the part that keeps the air from shooting back into my mouth once I blew it into the bag. It's very important. So I keep a cap on it. As you can see, it probably doesn't look very attractive right now. And it is very true. This poor little flapper valve has seen its better days. And what we're going to do today is we're going to remove the old hemp. I don't know if you can see this yellow muck around the outside. That is actually hemp string. It started off looking really clean and attractive, and over time of use and wear and tear, this is the string itself. It's referred to as hemp. This particular breed of hemp is waxed. It's got like a very, very, very light coating of wax on it, which I like. Some people say, oh no, don't use the waxed. The wax is not good. It's bad. And you know, we meet a lot of different pipers who are eccentric. Oh my goodness, if you ever have the chance and blessing to associate yourself with other individual bagpipers, you will find that there is a good selection of people with different and varying opinions on how to do this. And some will assert that they're more right than the other guy. It doesn't matter. If you take up any instrument, your bottom line is just what do you hear when you play, and how you play, and the professional presence that you present to your audience, the caricature of your musicianship, and it's all part of the package deal. You ultimately are the musician. You are the artist, and if you don't like what you hear when you play, chances are your audience doesn't like it either. So that's truly, for me, since my pursuit of this instrument has been my ethic and code. So, and it should be yours. You know, really, ultimately, you are the musician. So I know that every time I take out my instrument and I see this, I know I will eventually have to deal with it sooner or later, because it's not going to. Right now it works pretty good. I give it about a 90%. I can still feel a little bit of air pulling back in when I suck, and that's not good, because when that means the bag is full and I've got pressure and it's pushing a little bit of air back, means I'm losing pressure and I have to keep blowing a little harder just to keep it going at a normal pace. So what we're going to do today is we're going to cut all the old hemp off, and we're going to remove, and we're not going to throw away, but we're going to keep this little flapper valve, because I have found that some of the newer flapper valves that they're making are really bad. They're very poor quality. It's unbelievable. There's a lot of new valve products out there that people are installing in their blow sticks that make this flapper valve style obsolete. And so I'm finding less and less of these available that are of quality. For example, this is my blow stick valve box I keep. I have a spare that was an old one that was used. I'm not sure why I replaced it. It may have been just because it broke off and I had to reattach it and determined that it was no longer worth keeping on my blow stick. But unfortunately what I did was I put one of these newer ones. This is a newer style. And that's this little rubber right here, this little flapper, is a different type of rubber than this orange stuff. I'm not really sure what the difference is, but the difference, bottom line difference for me was when this piece broke off. I think I was at the Highland Games with my band, and of course we were competing, and here I am between sets, and this little piece of rubber decides, well, I'm not going to hang on to this little clip anymore, and it fell off. So there I was in a jam. Fortunately, I had a spare one of these, and that's the one that's in there to this day. Because while I was there at the Highland Games, I took my blow stick apart. I did it all there while sitting under our Easy Up, and got it in time to do the next competition set. So many of you pipers know about those, call them little mini emergencies. Sometimes we get in those situations where we've got to compete, and some horrible thing happens when either a reed breaks, the hemp is loose on the drone, drone reeds starts double toning all the time, and things that cause what I call piper panic. Yeah, so all of us who performed in competition know about piper panic. Anyway, so that's what we're going to do today, and I hope you enjoy the show. Stay tuned. Okay, welcome back. Now that I have prepared and gotten a concept of what it is I would like to demonstrate, and have prepared the tools and set them on the table here for you to see, my attempt to get this piece off and preserve it is my focus. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to cut away the hemp with an X-Acto knife, which may or may not be a good idea. I have found that hemp, when it gets old, kind of becomes gelatinous and homogenated and conglomerated and regurgitated, and becomes nasty and sticky and gooky and difficult to remove. And it's because of that wax that all those eccentric pipers were telling me not to use. Maybe they were right. Dadgummit. I hate when everybody's always right and I'm a knucklehead and I'm just a stubborn, obstinate, I know better than they do guy. But actually I'm not. I usually, when the real eccentric 100-year-old pipers are speaking, I usually shut up and pay attention and glean from their wisdom. A lot of them may be eccentric, but they do have a lot of experience and wisdom behind their craft, and so a lot of things can be gained. Good things can be gained. But you always have to sprinkle them with your own personal salt, because you can't always try to walk in the exact footsteps of another person, because you aren't that person. That person may have been given a gift by their creator, making them capable of doing what it is they've found that works best. And so that's why every one of us have to explore, of course, using the backdrop as the recommendations that have been given to us by our forebearers in the area of musical expertise, and discover what your talents are. And you may be thinking, oh, I'm not talented, I'm a dunderhead. But you know what? You're not a dunderhead. Every one of us who've been born in this world may not be good at one thing or another, but there is at least one or two things that you are definitely good at. And you either are aware of it or you're not. And if you're not aware of it, just because you haven't figured it out yet, doesn't mean you don't have one. You don't have a gift. And every one of us do. I believe that in the bottom of my heart. Some of us may have tons of gifts and exploit them in everyone's face on a daily basis, and just seems like they're just having such a great time. And then there's guys like me who have maybe 2 or 3 gifts, and I enjoy them. And if I exploit them in your face, I apologize. It's not that I stick it in your face. It's just I think if I discovered something that's really, really cool, I would like to share it with you, you know? Hey, check this out, man. This is a bagpipe. This is what it sounds like. Ain't it awesome? No! Stop playing that stupid thing! Which is often the reaction from people. But I get both good and bad responses from my playing. I get, wow, that was really amazing. I'm sure glad I stopped by here today and heard you playing. And I also get, do you have any idea how loud that thing is? When are you going to stop playing? Here, I'll put $10 in your pipe case if you stop playing. Yep, that sounds absurd, but it's true. That's happened to me several times before. Yep, there's no accounting for good taste, is there? There, now if you look, you can see that most of that old hemp has been removed with pretty good luck. And you can see the original tie-on right here. This is why this part here is not coming off very easily. Because when we first start wrapping this, there's a tie-in point where we put a knot there, and that's our initial launch point. And I'm not surprised it didn't come off right off because it's supposed to stay put. Alright, look at that. Almost done. Look at that. Nice. Now, this is the flapper valve. Now, I believe at this time I was using double sticky tape. I may have been using hot glue. So hot glue is my new method of attaching this. And there's no way to know for sure. May have been hot glue, may have been sticky tape, I don't remember. It was a while back. Oh wait, if this is the one I did at the Highland Games, it was double sticky tape. Because I did not have a conveniently plugged in hot glue gun at the time. Yeah, look at that. This bad boy's seen some miles, hasn't it? Look at that. So I'm not tossing that away. I'm going to hang on to that because that thing gave me some good performance and good history. So we're going to hang on to that little bad boy just in case I might need him in an emergency or in a pinch. Maybe in another Highland game. Now look at this. This is the old hemp. You can roll it into a ball. See that? Looks like a little malted Easter egg. But I recommend that you not eat it. Because it's disgusting. So, all ready to go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to buff this out and clean it off before I attempt to put any new hemp on it. And next time you see me, that'll be all done. Alright, now for the most tedious part is the wrapping of the hemp. The first thing I do is I tie an end loop, a little slip knot. I have had the great fortune of being in the presence of some of the greatest bagpipers in the world. Specifically, Ian Whitelaw. He is truly a remarkable artist and musician. He's also quite a character. If any of you have ever had the honor of being in his presence for lessons or any other reason, you know that he can be sometimes over the top. And one time during a lesson, he hipped up a chanter of mine. And the way he did it was he took 3 or 4 rolls of hemp and tied the strings in a big group, bundled them up, and then started wrapping multiple rolls at a time around my chanter stock so that we can just move on with the next part of the lesson. And needless to say, that was a very sloppy wrap, and I had to take it home and redo it. Because as you can see right here, this is how I do my wraps. I'm very meticulous, and I believe in starting it off as, straight and disciplined as possible. You can't get perfect, because those grooves actually are not a threaded groove. Those grooves just go straight across. So as you want the thread to keep progressing in an upward manner, you have to guide it such. Otherwise,
you'll be wrapping it in one location, and then there'll be a big bump there, and it'll be poopy. And trust me, poopy wraps do not give good air seals. There's a lot of pipers out there definitely attest to this. Speak not a lie, I telleth the truth. So, as this video is probably going to get boring and such, with me just rolling this here, I'll probably time lapse what you're looking at, so they can just speed by. Now, I'm going to check it, because I'm getting to the point now where there's getting enough hemp on there to start checking it on the stock. And it's already seeming like it's pretty tight. Shows me where my string is lacking and where my ducks are quacking. Now that's a good seal. I believe we're probably going to be good to go. Now, interestingly, when you play, this hemp will swell a little bit. And if it does, I'll be prepared to remove any excess that I need to allow the glow stick to continue to fit properly without damaging the stock. I'll leave that end where it can be easily found in the event that I need to remove any hemp. Good seal. Alright, any other questions or comments, or anything that you think may be a positive contribution to this interesting expose? I would appreciate it. But if you don't have anything positive to add, and you think this was a complete waste of time, well then, I apologize for wasting your time, because that is not what I want to do. What I want you to experience is something interesting, something edifying to your imagination. So some of you guys may play instruments that require good seals and things like that, and you probably are not aware of it. But if you become aware of it and you realize that sealing your instrument's joints or any of the parts of it together better, maybe with plumber's tape, which I keep some of that in here as well, in the event that I might need it. Now I know that my drones, the drone shafts have to be adjusted to be tuned, but using waxed hemp makes it extremely difficult to turn and twist with ease. So a lot of times what I'll do is after I hemp it up and it's reasonably tight, I'll put a layer of this plumber's tape, or Teflon tape as they call it. I'll put a layer of that right over the hemp. And what that does is it puts a nice little slippery seal on the hemp and allows the drone stock to slide easily with a slight twist. And as you train your drone stock, you train it when you twist righty-tighty and then you go lefty-loosey. Lefty-loosey flattens it, and righty-tighty sharpens it for tuning. So, and so there you go. There's a little bit of piping exposed. And I hope it was interesting. And you have a great day. And thanks for watching the Moeller's Workshop.